Okay, so as a lawyer, my day starts at 4:30 a.m. to get ahead of the competition. I then jump in some red light therapy whilst listening to a podcast on double speed. One, because knowledge is power, and two, because I can. I then head downstairs and pound 7 cups of coffee whilst getting some morning sunlight to set my circadian rhythm. I then dance around naked in the garden to really ground myself for the day. Naturally, I follow that up with a short 25-mile run, followed by hitting the sauna and cold plunge, which, as I'm sure you're aware, cures any diseases. I then write in my journal about how great I am before a short gratitude practice about how great I am. I then think fuck it and do 1,000 push-ups to really prepare my body for the day. And if you haven't guessed it, that routine is completely ridiculous. Yet, it is what some people seem to make out is necessary to do. I mean, if I did all of those things, I'd probably be finishing around 11 p.m. and it would be time for bed. However, don't get me wrong, I do think a morning routine is very important and really can set you up for the day. Particularly if you are someone that is working in a full-time job like me, the morning is the one time of the day that you really do have control over. And I've experimented a lot with my morning routine over the years, particularly in my previous job when I was working long hours at an international law firm in London. And today I wanted to share with you my realistic morning routine. The one that's actually worked for me and gets me feeling my best for the day ahead. And depending on the day of the week and whether I'm working from home or in the office, my morning routine ranges from about an hour and a half to no more than 2 hours and 15 minutes. And usually it really is that 2 hours or less. Okay, so my morning routine officially starts, probably like most people, with the alarm going off, which for me is usually around 6:30 to 7 in the morning. But step one of my routine is to actually get up as soon as my alarm goes off and to not be a snoozer. And this is partly because time is kind of the essence in the morning, but also because I learned that snoozing your alarm can actually result in you feeling even more tired and more groggy when you do eventually wake up. And this is because our body goes through multiple sleep cycles at night. And in the morning, when you are getting close to your natural waking time, your body starts preparing itself by releasing hormones and increasing your body's temperature. But when your alarm goes off, this process does get cut short. Now, unless you are just going to wake up completely naturally, setting your alarm and cutting that first process short is kind of unavoidable. However, if you were to snooze that alarm, you are essentially signaling to your body to restart another sleep cycle and to head back to deep sleep. Which means that when your alarm goes off again, you will be cutting another sleep cycle short, which likely will result in you feeling even more tired than if you had just got up when your alarm first went off. So step one for me is simple. When my alarm goes off, I get my ass out of bed. Okay, from there, I go to the toilet, have a pee, brush my teeth, get dressed, and I'm usually downstairs within about 10 minutes of waking. From there, the first major thing I do as part of my routine is hydrate. Because often in the mornings, we will wake up a bit dehydrated because our bodies lose fluid throughout the night through breathing, sweating, and our kidneys filtering waste. And even just mild dehydration can make you feel more tired. And studies have also shown that not only is your concentration and alertness improved with hydration, but so are your cognitive abilities and mood too. And because of all of that, hydration is very important for me, and I always look to drink around 400 milliliters of water first thing. I also am a big fan of electrolytes, which help regulate hydration and maintain fluid balance, and I have been toying with the idea of taking electrolytes first thing as well, but because I do intermittent fasting, I tend to hold off on doing that because I think electrolytes technically would break my fast. But if you are someone that doesn't do intermittent fasting, I think electrolytes could also really be something to consider first thing in the morning. Once I'm hydrated, it is on to my morning meditation. And my last video was actually all about my experience meditating, and so I will link that down below. But essentially, I am a fan of meditation. I do think it has helped me be a bit more present. I think it's helped me be a little bit more aware of my emotions and has helped me just to respond better in certain situations. I do appreciate though that meditation can seem a little bit daunting or maybe even just a little bit airy-fairy for some people, but I just do a 10-minute daily meditation on Sam Harris's Waking Up app, and I do think even just 10 minutes a day really can be of benefit. That app also has a 4-week tutorial type program where it teaches you about meditation and some of the basic and key principles. And so I do think if you're someone that has ever considered meditation, that app really is good and worth considering. Hey everyone, if you're enjoying this, please do give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Now on to the biggest and by far the most important aspect on my morning routine, exercise. And it depends slightly on the day of the week and my exact schedule for the week, but I will usually always be doing at least 45 minutes to an hour and a quarter of exercise. And so at the moment, my current schedule, I am doing Monday as a push session in the gym. Tuesday, I have as a slow run day, and at the moment I'm doing a 6-kilometer slow run followed by some mobility. Wednesday is the one day of the week that I don't have so set, so sometimes I will do some other form of cardio or a circuit training session, or sometimes I do have that just as a rest morning. Thursday, at the moment, I'm doing an interval run session, so I'm doing this 9-kilometer interval session. And then Friday, I do a circuit training session with weights. And then at the weekend, my program is slightly different. And I'm not going to go into all of the health benefits of exercise, but I think the main thing to just say here is that I simply find that when I exercise in the morning, I generally do just have a better day. I feel happier, I feel more energized. And interestingly, I saw a post recently from Andrew Huberman, and he was talking about how exercising in the morning can help you deal with stress better throughout the day. And that is also something that I really have noticed at work. Like if I'm having a particularly busy or stressful day, or maybe I've got a really tough work call or have to give some presentation that I'm a little bit nervous about, I do find that when I exercise in the morning, I am just able to handle those situations better and turn up as a better version of myself. So yeah, for me, exercise really is the number one morning hack, and it always will be. And I do appreciate that my morning exercise routine is pretty intense, but that's not to say that that's what everyone needs to do. For some people, it could simply be going outside and walking for 10 minutes just to get your body moving a little bit and getting some fresh air. Having said that, personally, I do find that when I do more intense exercise, I do reap more benefits. Like, I don't think for me, just going for a 10-minute walk would make me feel as good as some of the more intense runs that I do. I do think that I would feel better doing a 10-minute walk compared to nothing, but yeah, not quite as good as doing some of the more intense exercise that I do. And so after I exercise, the bulk of my morning routine is done. But there are two more things that I did just want to mention. So the first is around something that you may have noticed, which is that eating is not a part of my morning routine. And this is because, as I alluded to earlier, I do intermittent fasting. And so I don't usually have my first meal of the day until around noontime. And I am a massive fan of intermittent fasting. I think it has really helped to make me just generally feel better and be more stable with my energy levels. But another thing I definitely do like about it is the convenience factor, because as you can see, my mornings are pretty action-packed. And so I really do like how I can just get up and get after it in the mornings without having to worry about breakfast. And it does save me, like 15 minutes to 30 minutes that I would really struggle to fit into my morning routine. And then the final thing I do to conclude my morning routine is have a lovely cup of coffee. But I say that this is part of my morning routine because I do intentionally delay having my first cup of coffee until the end of my routine, which is 90 to 120 minutes after I wake up. And I started doing this about 6 months ago, again on the recommendation of Andrew Huberman, who I'm realizing I'm starting to probably watch a little bit too much of. But in one of his podcasts, he explained how delaying your caffeine consumption in the morning can be beneficial for two main reasons, I think. So firstly, he said that it can help to align your body to its natural cortisol production, which peaks shortly after waking in the morning. But if you were to consume caffeine too early, that process can be interfered with and can result in an energy crash. Secondly, delaying your caffeine allows your body to naturally clear out adenosine, which is the chemical that makes you feel sleepy and which builds up overnight. But by delaying caffeine, you allow your adenosine levels to drop, and so the caffeine can work more effectively and provide you with a more sustained level of energy throughout the day. And I'll be honest, sometimes it is very hard to wait that long to have my first hit of caffeine in the morning, But I do really feel that by waiting, I do get a heightened sense of alertness when I do then have that caffeine. And I do just feel really like I'm getting more of the benefits from the caffeine. I also do time it so that I'm usually having this first cup of coffee when I'm starting my first bit of work for the day, which does provide me with a nice boost and usually does allow me to have a good first few productive hours of work. And that's it. That is my morning routine. And I appreciate this may still seem like quite a lot. And to be fair, I do cram quite a bit into my morning routine. But I do really think that it is a realistic routine. And to be honest, I'm in such a routine with it now that I don't really find it that difficult to do. And more importantly, I do just feel way better, way more productive, and way more energized when I am doing this morning routine. And noticeably, I feel not so good if I ever do fall out of routine with it. What I would just finally say though, is that the key I think to any routine is to try and figure out what really is realistic for you to do consistently. Because if you're not able to consistently do something, it ain't gonna be any sort of routine. So really just experiment with things. Maybe try elements of my routine. Obviously take out anything that you don't enjoy, add anything in that you particularly enjoy or wanna be doing in the morning, and really just try and figure out what works best for you and what you will be able to do given the time that you have in the morning. All right, thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, please do check out my previous upload here. It'd be great if you also like this video and did subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, and I will see you in my next video.